Basically, yeah, basically, I'm going to be talking about everything financial, not just financial in the aspect of hospitality, but an embodiment of everything. Because in business, finance is the bedrock why people set up businesses in the first place. Even when you go to the panel builder, the reason why he wakes up in the morning is because he wants to know what he earns at the end of the day. So, how do we manage finances when it comes to hospitality? Especially because in hospitality you have diverse segments, and all these segments, whether they're direct or indirect, have a way of affecting revenue. If the housekeeper isn't doing something right, it affects the guest. If the customer service is giving a nasty attitude, it affects your finance, because I'll come there and never come again. It's as simple as that. So how do we try to manage these backlogs? How do we try to find a way where our finances are not being affected by the front runners? Because either as a business owner, or as a general manager, or as an operations manager, you can't be everywhere at the same time. So I tell people, you know what? Always put yourself in the position of the customer, and sometimes just let the subordinate fill in the shoe of the boss and tell him, okay, assuming you are the one sitting on the other table and a guest comes in and then he finds a nasty towel, what's going to be your reaction? Basically, because what how however the customer reacts is the same reaction you're going to get in your finance, because your best and only marketers are your customers. So you treat them nasty, you get a nasty response. You treat them well, you get a pleasant response. So how do we try to manage this? It's a very delicate aspect of business. And so sometimes I tell you, we don't usually count the profits immediately, but we grow them over time. So what we call um, grassroots, 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 grassroots customer relation. So what do we do if you get a feedback? And so what's your feedback mechanism? What's your feedback mechanism? Do they get back to you immediately to say, oh, the customer today is not feeling fine, it's not pleasant? What do we do? Sometimes you have to do complimentary. What's the complimentary that you want to offer? Do you want to give him a free breakfast, or a free lunch, or a free dinner, just to make him come back? So we have to find a way that it's a win-win situation in cases like this. So basically, finances is not all about what you see on the system, what comes in and what goes out. It's about the back end work. And the back end work, most times we don't get to see the people in front. So what is the quality of your operations manager? What's the quality of your general manager? What's the quality of your housekeeper? What's the quality of your customer relationship manager? All these are key factors that make you calculate. And if you have a kitchen in your hotel, it makes your matters worse, because that department is a crazy department if you have no idea about cost control. Because trust me, those people at the kitchen would mess you up. So what did I do? And I sat down and I said, you know what? I'm in this business and I'm tired of people telling me it's not possible, it's not possible, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard. And what did I do? I went to a small hotel and I went there and applied as a kitchen assistant. Trust me, I did that until I was found out, because the way I did my things was quite different. Like I was just different. So sometimes if you really want to understand what happens in your business, you have to go down to the level of learning the ropes, or getting someone who has gone through the ropes to teach you the ropes. If you have kitchen in your hotel, or more, I can tell you it's not an easy ride, because those people at the kitchen would mess you up. They can mess your breakfast up. They can mess your lunch up. They can mess everything up and tell you everything is sold out, ma. And then you're not seeing it in your record. And then you begin to ask yourself, am I actually in business? Or is it the housekeeper that comes and tells you, oh, the guest asked for extra towel? So every hotel, every business have their model of operation. So the first question you ask yourself is, what is my model of operation? If I'm charging 50,000 per night, what does my 50,000 cover? What's going to be my extra charge? And it's in pen and paper. You're writing it, you're documenting it, you're telling them, if somebody wants an extra tissue, it costs 3,000. If someone wants an extra towel, it costs B amount. If someone wants an extra toothbrush, it depends on the package you have for your hospitality. So the higher the luxury you have in your hospitality, the higher the price you charge. So it's usually, I like talking to, when I speak with business owners, I tell them, you can't do this because you just understand it that, oh, Transcorp is doing so well. Transcorp is doing so well. But I can tell you, if you go to the back end of what Transcorp does, you would want to cry, because they cry behind the scene. But when you see the front view, it's fantastic. So your back end workers are the key motivation or key factor to your financial upgrade, because they're the ones who will tell you, oh no, room A, B, and C was occupied, and then we did B, D, and C, and so you have to charge them this extra much. But if you don't have someone at the back end who does that for you, then you have to be in problems. And so most of what hotel owners do is they take consultants who know everything about that, and then they tell the consultants, you know what, I want you to just give me A, B, and C at the end of the month. I'm not interested in the headache that comes with it. But some people would want to be there to run the business. So if you are there, and then maybe you're the business owner, or maybe you're the general manager or the operations manager, and you don't know how to go about it, my best bet, get a consultant. Ask them the secret, because every business has its own secrets. Every business has a secret. The shisha man will tell you there's a secret. If you want him to sell you shisha for 3,000, he will sell it to you, but then there's a secret behind. If you want to stay in a luxury hotel, and then their premium price is probably 70,000, as a hotel manager or hotel owner or a hotel consultant, what do you think you can do to manage somebody who is saying, oh, can you take me for 50,000, or can you take me for 40,000? How do you balance it up? Because you're talking about books now, you're talking about finances. So it's more about the back end work, and not just the plus and minuses at the front view. Then how does your customer service relate with, if you hear some customer service over the phone, you would never want to visit a certain place. So how much are you investing on your front desk people? The front runners are your marketers. You get to the pouch, and then the porter is there. He's taking your bag. He's smiling. He's telling you already about how fantastic the kitchen is, telling you about how fantastic the waiter is. Have you visited our bar or our lounge? Or we have, so many things. The person is already telling you from entry. And then naturally, human beings, as being inquisitive, we want to know, oh, really? Okay, I want to find out. And they are disappointed if they don't get that. So if you're selling at the front view, you should be able to marry it with your back end. So when the front person is giving that information, the person should be able to come and say, I told them that they can have the most fantastic Nkobi if he's from the east in this place. Or I'm telling him, oh, they can find the best master in Nigeria in this place. Can we afford that? There are times when you have to run helter skelter at the back end to satisfy a guest. That's not the guest's problem. So what do we tell the front runners? How often do you do pep talks? How often do you come to say, oh, if you're able to do this, we're able to achieve that? So the honest truth is most business people, most business owners don't understand the the power of PR. PR in the sense that you can give somebody a bottle of Coke over a drink and you're talking about millions. Now, my Coke in my hotel is 3,000. I can't afford to give somebody 3,000 because I'm just talking business. But sometimes you don't know how far that 3,000 can go. So what is your PR system? What's your marketing strategy? What are you ready to let go? What's your discount policy? Because I know, yes, as Nigerians, we take advantage of things like, oh, they are doing a discount in this hotel, so let me pack all the people in my village and come there. I know that part. So you have to put some T and C in place, terms and conditions, in the sense that, okay, it can't go beyond a certain level, it can't go beyond a certain duration, it can't go beyond this. Then every other thing we're doing at the back end concerning figures, calculation, income, expenditure, becomes easy. But the problem we have in hospitality is because there's always a disconnect between the front end and the back end. So the manager up there is talking, saying, oh, my target is 70 million this month. Everybody, anyhow you want to do it, let me make 70 million. I'm not coming up with any strategy for the month. But you want the front runners to do miracle. No, for every hospitality, you must come up with different strategies every month to attract different people or to make people get bored with the same thing. So you have to diversify. It can be as simple as, oh, okay, for this month, we're going to show Premier, let's take for instance people that love football. Oh, everybody who lodges at this place gets a free popcorn. As small as that is, it might sound childish, it might sound stupid, it might sound not professional, but for the fact that you're doing an add-on is something. Oh, okay, I can come there with my wife and then I'm watching my football and she's taking her popcorn. So we have to be able to understand the techniques of complementary. Okay, what can I give? And I think the mistake most people do in hospitality is they're charging complimentary from the front end, from what you have on your POS. No, you charge it based on what it is at the cost price. So it's not heavy on the manager, it's not heavy on the operations manager, it's not heavy on the owner. So this is what I mean. Oh, if you stay here today, everybody that stays in the premium room gets free goat meat pepper soup. And then probably you're getting, at least I know the last time I checked, a piece of goat meat, the most expensive is 500. So what would it take you to offer them 3, which is like 2,000 for somebody paying 80,000 in your room? And so he said, do you know if you lodge every Thursday, you get free pepper soup, but in your menu, the goat meat might be 7,000 or 8,000. So it's a whole lot of back end work, and it takes a lot to do back end work. Actually, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to do back end work. So if you are a general manager, I would say this to you, having been there. You're going to work with a lot of people that don't understand the English you're saying, that don't get why they think things should be right, that don't understand that leaving the light on is affecting electricity bill. They don't understand. All those are English. They don't understand. They can't understand it in the Nigerian context, and that's the truth. So what I do most times is I tell business owners, Tell this person he's the general manager today. Sit back and say, today is your business, but I make XYZ every day. So I want you to meet it or overtake it. And try, no matter how difficult it is, try to just sit back, lay back, make your observations, take your notes, and allow you'll still be in the office, you'll still be in the view, you see the person running around, you tell everybody he's in charge today. It gives them a sense of belonging. And then tell them, okay, this is what I buy. I buy it, you can add, like me, I'll tell them I buy soap 2,000, even though I buy maybe 600 naira. Soap is 2,000 because your salary, rent, electricity is inside. So it's a lot of mathematical work at the back end. And truth be told, except you communicate what your targets are to your employees, they don't know how to run. So you tell them the rent here is A, B, and C. The electricity is Y, Z, and D. The furnitures, fittings, toiletries is B, Z, and Y. So when we add this is what you have to do. Basic. This is basic expenditure. Like whether people come or they didn't come, you have to pay rent every day. So it's in your salary. So how do we get that done? Most times people don't have these conversations with their employees. So employees sees big figures coming into the account and they don't understand, why are you telling me we are not making profits? No, we are making sales, but we might not be making profits. But this is so most people where I've consulted, I tell them, and honestly, by the time they begin to communicate with their employees, the employees begin to see themselves as owners and as part of the business. Whether you're here as an employee, you're here as an operations manager, you're here as a general manager, it's not your business. But if you develop that mindset to manage it like as though it's yours, run it like, okay, let's take for instance, it's our own, it's been given to us, and we have to pay rent of 2 million every day. We have to pay electricity of 50,000 every day. We have to pay this of this amount every day. How much does that amount to? You, Mr. David, how much does that amount to? He tells you, and you say, okay, so that is basic. Whether people come or they don't come, we must pay that amount. So how many people do you now think must come in for us to be able to now save for salary, pay for this? Honestly, it does magic. I'm speaking from experience. It does a lot of magic because you're telling them to put themselves in the shoes of a business owner. And believe you me, in this business of hospitality, I tell people it's like the experience is never ending.
Hello.
Hi, we just lost her for a moment.
Okay. Oh, gosh.
Hello.
Yeah,
So
we're
I
here.
think she's having network issues. She'll come off soon. I hope we are picking some things from what she's saying. Are we picking?
Yeah.
Are we learning
Yeah,
something?
we're picking a lot.
Okay.
Definitely we are.
All right.
Thank
We're learning
you.
a
So I
whole
think
lot.
she's having network issues. She'll soon be back. So let me reach out to her so that she can come back in. Hello, Dr. Fleming.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, she's coming in. She's back in.
Okay.
Welcome back, Miss Lizzie.
Yes, I had a
Yeah,
network
welcome
hitch.
back.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm back. So as I
Oh,
was
Okay.
saying, it's a whole lot of roller coaster when it comes to this hospitality. So basically, because I tell people different outlets with different approaches. We can't use one stick to handle everybody because their method of operation is quite different from the other person. So I would say, okay, what's your mode of operation? How do you operate in your own outlet? What's your model of operation? Then what are the challenges you face? Because whatever challenges you face affects your finances. And like I said, everybody's in this business to actually make money. So first and most important is the human resource. So get your frontline person, that's your customer service, your food soldier, either your porter or your server or your waiter, depending on how you call them, to be exceptional. So you can see that in some outlets, I tell the person, pay your customer service 100,000. I know that, like, because that's the live wire of that business. If that person speaks nasty, the man is not inquisitive to come and see how posh your place is. So it depends on the dynamics of how you operate. So at the back end, we most often work at the back end. We are not beautiful. We don't speak good English. We're just there struggling. So, but we have opportunity to bring in people who can do this, and then we mentor them. We tell them this are our terms, these are our terms, these are our conditions. This is what you should do. This is what you should not do. This is how you should talk. This is how you should not talk. But we can't do that. But we can coach people to do that. So is your customer server, is she convincing enough? Is she appealing on phone? Because in hospitality, most times they're ruled by what they hear and by what they see. So if people come into your front desk and then your customer service has her strip saggy, she'll be taken on serious, like they were like whatever. But when they come in and the customer service is like, oh, welcomes, and there's no light. And it's like, oh, they just took the light, sir. Just don't worry. The light is coming up in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It will be up, even though it might not come up in the next 1 hour. But she's giving that vibe. She's a marketer. She knows how to rapport. This business is about rapport. How do you talk to them? How do you convince them? How do you make them understand what is true? Then your 90% of your problem is done. And then the person says, oh, ma, do you know this man has been sitting for 20 minutes and never has not brought light? And they're like, oh, okay, ask him what he drinks, give him bottle of beer. While you're trying to, probably the generator has something. This, like I said, this business comes with a lot of madness that you can't put on pen on paper except you experience them. But you can document um expected problems. A person might come in and then meeting a bad towel and coming asking for refund, turning the whole place down, making everybody look stupid with your level of English and all that, with how classy the place is. And the person tells you, you know what, I want a refund. So how do you manage that? If before it gets to your table as a general manager or as an operations manager, your frontliners should be able to have done everything humanly possible to convince the man that there's no refund. So by the time it's getting to your table, you're already getting feedback. Oh, the man is not allowing, the man is not agreeing, or the man is not agreeing. He's saying no, he has to get his refund, blah blah blah. And then you're mentally at the back end. Okay, what do I do? You coming up with strategy? It's not your business. You have daily targets. What do? And then the person comes to you. you have to be mentally ready to be able to do something different. Either to say, okay, sir, the light is not coming up at the moment. And we're actually not sure, because at this point, as it's getting to your table, you know that probably the light may not come up till probably at the next 2 hours. And so, you know, the light may not come up, sir, for the next 2 hours. But I can assure you, instead of checking out at 12, we'll allow you to check out at 4. Now, the question is, how does that affect my back end? It will definitely affect your back end, but you've retained him for a longer time. Because if he checks out at 12, how sure are you that somebody will occupy the place between 12 and 4? Or you've maintained the situation, you have doubts, because eventually he might not leave at 4, but he might leave earlier. But we don't know. But let's say he leaves at 4. What have you got to lose? So whenever we're doing calculations or budgets, always I tell people, put your logistic budget or your PR budget in there, because this is PR. So most people, as general manager of business owners, begin to have problems with owners of business. Why? Because they are doing things that they forget to put pen on paper. They are forgetting that, sir, ma, we don't know, it might happen, but let's put it in the budget. So my January budget will have logistic and PR of 150,000 or 200,000. And so if I'm telling the person to stay till 4, I'm taking it from that logistic money and I'm paying, so that the person doesn't think that, oh, I gave this person my business and then he's doing as he like. He's giving people, he's allowing people stay in my hotel and he's not paying for it. No, it's not as if he's not paying for it. You're still doing the person a business favor, but you don't want to go into all that, because the headache is on you. You are the person who is supposed to handle all the problems. How you handle it most times is not their problem, but just get them resolved. So most times when we're doing budget, the question I ask people, what does your budget look like? Do you handle eventuality of as trivial as fumigation, which is actually major, or as trivial as changing the bulb in the room? It's as trivial. But sometimes some people will tell you that because you didn't budget for 5,000, you can't touch 5,000. So what's the level of operation you've been awarded? Are you awarded to take things directly from the account, or you have to send a budget for somebody to approve? It's a whole lot of financial hula-la at the back end that is never ending. So basically, finances in hospitality is broad, and because it's broad, I usually ask people, where is your major challenge? Where do you think you have the greatest problem? Some people will say, I have 20 rooms, but they tell me every time it is 5 rooms that is occupied. Okay, so what are the checks? There's what we call check the checker. So even if you say, oh, okay, I'm the general manager, I want to get an operations manager, and then you're still using key, not key lock, which is automatic, not the automatic opening that gets to your phone, because people do that now. They get it on your phone when somebody opens the door. If you're not doing that, then what's the mode of register? How do they register, and how do people clock in? How do people clock out? You have to have that in place. If you don't have that in place, then what's your mode of clock in and clock out? Then who is checking the checker? Because that's basically the problem they have in hospitality. People have 20 rooms, and at the end of the week, they're telling you it's only 5% or 50% occupancy. How? How do you check it? So different hotels or different business premises have different models of operation. So it's diverse, like I told Ms. Dorcas, it's diverse. So it has to be segmented to specific individual. Like if hotel A must not be doing the same thing as hotel B. Yes, they're all doing occupancy, but there are different aspects to it. Some people give complimentary breakfast. Do you give complimentary breakfast? Some people have porter. You might not have porter. So how do you operate? What's the model of operation for you? So it's technical, and then when it comes to the plus and minus, basically the only thing that kills hospitality right now is electricity, because that's where most of the revenue goes into. Because there's no way you have that business and not have power. Mhm. So there's no way you have that and not have a generator that's diesel or AEDC. So what is your power source? Because that's where most of the money goes. Then you come to personnel. After power, you have personnel, because your personnel is like supposed to be second after maintenance. So every department has its own cash flow. Then if you have kitchen, then you have more headache, because your kitchen will forget to do a lot of things, and then they're coming to tell you there's nothing at the dying minute, and then it's a premium guest, you don't want to turn the person down. It's a whole headache. So, but if you have different segments, take for instance, you have the housekeeping, you have the kitchen, you have the bar, you might have the lounge, then you have the room service. So I would suggest that if you the larger the departments you have in your hotel, the larger you have heads of departments in this aspect, so that everybody can take responsibility.
I've muted the person already. Sorry.
Okay. So that everybody can take responsibility for their head, for their department. So as a general manager, just streamline your operation so that you know who is reporting what to you, who is reporting from the maintenance, who is reporting from the cashier desk, that's customer service, who is reporting from the servers, who is reporting from the kitchen. Have heads. It's going to cost you more, but it's going to save you a lot of stress, because you know who to hold responsible, and you're not taking to everybody at the same time. What most hotel people do is they want to talk to everybody at the same time. You're going to go crazy. So streamline, so that one person is talking to you from a segment, one person is talking to you from a department, one person is talking to you from a sector, and then you're handling it. Or create a WhatsApp group, so that as issues are escalating, you are in the know. You're prompted, you're taking action, you're getting feedback, you're getting response, and you're giving instruction instantly. So it's a job that takes your sleep away, it takes everything from you, especially if you're the business owner, or if you're working for someone who intends to have the business. It takes a lot from you, because at the end of the day, everything they do affects the calculation in front. Because the lower the occupancy in your hotel, the lower your revenue. And every English you are speaking, the people can understand. So, first I'll just summarize is for everybody here, please do a budget, and do a budget in segments. So what do I mean by in segments? Do your maintenance budget. What do you spend every month? Do your kitchen budget. What do you spend every month? Do your bar budget. That's the lounge. What do you spend every month? Do your customer service budget. What do you spend every month? That's for data, for calls, for segment them and put a budget. Then let everybody in this segment know what they're spending. So that way they would have an idea. They will know that if they would help you to manage they will help you to manage. And most time I tell people, add it up a little. So if you're spending 50,000, tell them it's 150,000. If you're spending 20,000, tell them it's 100,000. Reason why you tell them that is your salary is inside. Like I asked somebody, a chef, he came, he said, man, let's do seafood okra for 14,000. I said, why would you say seafood okra for 14,000? He said, because I said, okay, sit down. Oga, sit down. How much is snail? He calculated. How much is prawns? He calculated. Shrimps, he calculated. Cocoa, he calculated. I said, gas where you use, he calculated. The same poundo, he calculated. I said, rent for this place, say it is. I say, yes, I calculate that. I was calculating with him. And at the end of the day, we arrived at 9,000. And I said, okay, so now, what your salary day for here? He said, my salary never enters. I said, you must make your salary enter. He said, yes. I said, how much do you want now to say? He said, let's sell it 18,000. So if you carry, sometimes you just come to the level, you do that mathematics with that. Just do it with one person. One person would help you do the magic for you. You don't have to be talking too much. Just one person, but let the person understand what you're saying and see that those things you're mentioning are actually there. Honestly, you save yourself some headache. So for me, financing in hospitality is too broad. Like I told Ms. Dorcas, it's a broad topic. We can't finish it in one sitting because it comes up every day, because the prices in the market changes every day, because somebody will tell you your hotel is too expensive and somebody next to you is doing 18,000. Why are you doing 25,000? So the question you ask yourself, what's my marketing strategy? You must have a niche. Somebody approached me yesterday and said, why is this place selling water for 1,800 naira? Meanwhile, somebody in the other side is selling it for 500. On my toe, and I say, oh guy, it's not hard now. And they give you lemon, and they give you glass, and they give you AC. Person they serve you, nobody say you go stand for front of the bar, they take out. So you know what the one is? He said, Madam, bring her. You don't win. So you must know what your niche is. That somebody is giving a hotel for 18,000 shouldn't be your problem. What stands you out should be your concern. What do I do differently? What in this business, like I said, PR is very important. What do I do this month that would make them want to come? What am I doing on social media that other people are not doing? So you are always on social media looking because you want your figures to be up. Whatever plus and minus you're doing at the back end is not going to be interesting as much as it actually coming into your account. So you can be doing a lot of math, P&L, balance sheet. Almost at the end of the day, so recharge card almost enter the balance sheet. So how are we trying to minimize that expenditure to maximize profit? What are we doing? And the only people who can help us actually do that are the people at the front line, and still emphasizing on the front line people. So you must afford to be able to pay those people, those your marketers, those your sellers, those your sway people, to be able to sell this dream, this vision, this place as though it's their own. Once you demotivate anybody, they can't sell anything. So I think I would want to stop here for now to see if you have questions first, then I'll continue.
Okay. I can see you're giving yourself PR already.
Can you put up your hand, please, if you have any question? Can you put up your hand if you have any question? If you have any question, put up your hand. If not, we'll proceed so that when she's done, we can have Dr. Fleming say one or two things. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Wow, that was very insightful. Well, I'm just a trainee, a manager in trainee. I've not had this practical experience. I'm just growing in the industry. But there's something she mentioned that got my attention about budgeting. And she said that budgeting, your budget should be segmented. You should have a maintenance budget and so on and so. So I wanted to ask, how do you manage your budget? Are you preparing a monthly budget? How do you manage your budget when it comes to kitchen expenditure? Knowing that, kitchen expenditure, maybe it varies depending on the number of guests you have in the house, or maybe you're having a function. Or if you are to do a monthly budget, how do you manage your kitchen expenditure? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Emmanuel. So when it comes to kitchen, right? In kitchen, I know we have basically the segment that kills you the most is when it comes to protein or starch or vegetable or spices, and then you have your beverages. So I don't know what kind of budget you operate. So what I normally tell people to do is to take an average. So take, for instance, last month you did, just hypothetical now, say for instance you did 10,000 on beverage. Nothing stops you from adding a 10% rise this month on beverage. Then for protein, nothing stops you from adding a 10% price. So on protein. So you just add it up with an anticipation that, oh, okay, I'm anticipating that at the end of this month, it's a festive season. So I anticipate that people will come more. Sometimes you might meet a bottleneck. Sometimes you get to the middle of the road and you're sold out. That's why I said you must have what you call your PR and logistic, that which must come in your budget. It must be there because sometimes you run out of cash. Sometimes you get stranded. So what do? You can't reach the business owner. You can't transfer cash to yourself. You can only work on the confines of what your budget is. So you must have your PR and logistic. So you can take from that and then try to retire at the end of the day to say, okay, instead of buying 100,000 worth of beef, we have to take 150, and so we're short of 50,000 in the logistic. So there must always be a place where you are able to have a backup. And then you can't do an actual budget, you have to do a tentative. And so when you're doing that budget, always put the word tentative in front. Don't say it's an actual budget because it's marketing. Sometimes you can go all the way up, sometimes you can go all the way down. So it's tentative. You might spend all the money, you might spend less. So let's always be tentative so that the business owner knows that it's a maybe. I might request for more, I might spend the less, or I might spend more. So segment your kitchen in that segment: protein, starch, spices. Spices contain your oil, everything that has to do with food. Then you have to do gas, that's maintenance. How much gas do you use? Put it in, add some percentage to it so that you don't get stuck. Then you do your vegetables. Vegetables is very important because that's where people come at you. Your starch is very important. And then you now do your PR there, where you do your complimentary breakfast or whatever it is you do as complimentary.
Hello. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Emmanuel.
Yes,
So
thank you very
your
much.
question. All right, thank you very much. Udoka John. Mr. Udoka John. Oh, Mrs. Oh, all right. Please ask your question.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, our teacher, for tonight. We appreciate it. It's a very in-depth teaching tonight, and actually wanted to respond to Mr. Emmanuel's question, because being in this field over time, I discovered that one of the most challenging sector is the F&B, especially the kitchen department. It's almost like you can't actually get it, the budgeting very perfectly correct. So what I do, I come up with a formula that works for me, because I don't really like too much surprises. So I consider personally the numbers of rooms that I have, and I study how much I have sold over 3 months, and what's the time the season is. Is it the peak season? when the business is booming, or is it the dull season? So with that, I multiply it my rooms times, so that way I get the numbers of portion for the in-house guests. And then I check my restaurants, how has sales been from the restaurants. And then, like she said, it has to be tentative, it shouldn't be fixed. So if I've been selling, for example, 1 million from the restaurant every day, then I just, make some little rooms so that I can accommodate any eventualities that may arise. So that is how I manage that. And I feel like personally that has helped me to manage some of the surprises that come from the kitchen department, unnecessary spending, that's because she's talking of how to manage our expenditures. There's other thing she said regarding our frontliners. One of the most challenging teams are the frontliners, because if you poorly manage them, in fact, I learned something from her tonight. Assigning, I do that. I try to do that, but not as well as she said it. Assigning them that leadership roles, even if it's for a day. So that's doing, they would be able to understand what goes on in your head. So, giving that instruction and they not carrying it out. In fact, I'm going to practicalize that like tomorrow. So, yeah, it's a very beautiful one because the frontliners can either mar you or sabotage you or make the business very fantastic. Sometimes even as their general manager, sometimes, for instance, we have Indians fully occupying our facility at the moment. And I remember the first time these people came in, I got up, I was carrying their luggages, making sure that everybody was happy. I was on the lift, I went to the room, and they were looking at me like, what is this woman doing? You get, and that was me trying to practicalize to them that these people are kings and queens and they deserve our utmost respect. You treat them right, they are going to come back. Sometimes from my own personal fund, like she was saying, I try to encourage our guests. I buy complimentaries. When she talks of the goat meat, giving them, I do that because some business owners, when you spend some of this money and you're explaining to them, they don't understand. To them, they feel like you're just wasting their money. But I tell them, sometimes you lose today and then you get those customers for a lifetime. I have a guest at the moment who came in from outside Nigeria and everything, almost everything, she complained about the Wi-Fi. We have Wi-Fi on all rooms, you have access to Wi-Fi. But she said hers is not picking. So I had to give her my personal Wi-Fi. She talked about electric kettle. We give her kettle. She said she came to my office. She saw my personal kettle. She said she preferred that one. I said, okay, you can have it, and so on and so forth. And you realize she wanted to stay 1 week before, but she has ended up staying 2 months. So you realize whenever I'm not around and she needs anything, everybody's like, oh, GF, that woman, you are the one that knows how to attend to her. So this teaching is very practical, and I want to commend you because you touched every aspect of financial management within the industry. Thank you, ma.
Thank you, Ms. Odoka. Thank you so much.
I think we can write on, so we don't have more questions. We can write on so that Dr. Fleming will also say something.
Okay. Basically, there's nothing you want to do, like I said, on the PR at the back end, P&L, that's the profit and loss, at the back end, that would actually make sense if you don't know who are your target audience, what's your um, what are you anticipating for the next couple of, let's say, couple of first week. Usually I tell people first week might be slow, but after the first week, people might be able to balance in, they have time, they're already bringing in new people, they're balancing in, they're able to settle in. So I tell people the first 5 6 days in the month is really tricky. So that's the time you should do a lot of marketing. Either you're doing social media marketing, you're doing podcasts, you're doing Instagram, any means of social media you need to do should happen within the first 5 days of the month and the last 5 days of the month. Now, reason being that, okay, people are bored, people need to run away somewhere, they're just flipping on their phones, they're trying to see what's happening on the internet, everybody's glued there, they're trying to make their plans for the month. So you can get their attention the first 5 days of the month. Then the last 5 days of the month, because okay, now some people have money, that they have money. I'm talking about not the people who are business people. I'm talking about maybe corporate people, corporate clients who want to maybe change. They're upset with where they are at. They want to change. People are coming into the country. You know your peak period. You know the season time. The first 5 6 days of the month is really the cashing month, and the last 5 days of the month. The middle of the month,
Hello?
everybody is talking somewhere. Everybody is
Hello?
doing something somewhere. Hello?
Báwo
Hello?
ni Aminu? Yeah.
So people are trying to balance in. So what's your marketing strategy? Who are the people talking?
Ó gbé
What are
kan fún
you
mi, ó gbé kan.
putting out there? Who are your competitors? What do you want to do differently? I've said that already. So for your P&L to balance, we can't actually say this is the best month to do your P&L, because you might spend, take for instance, 200,000 this month for PR, and then the next month you heard that Davido is coming to somewhere close to your hotel. You should know that that period, that time, or more, you have full occupancy. So marketing, you have to have your eye to the ground. What's happening at this time? What's going on around me? Who are my competitors? In fact, sometimes take yourself and go to the hotel, go and steal, go and look, go and do. You must be able to tweak, so people don't get bored with, no, if I come there, the vest is always the same, the cotton is always blue, the white, just sometimes try to give them make them inquisitive, not to know what's coming up, what to expect. And then your best, like I said, your best marketers are the people, are your customers, who are your best referrals. So you treat them right, they bring 10 people for you. You treat them wrong, they bring 100 people for you. The 100 people will hate you immediately. So basically, I really don't want to say much. Please, your accountant should be your best friend. Who is your accountant? How well do you know him or her? What's the app he's using? Can you access that app on your phone? If there's a check-in, how do you track? Do you do physical checks apart from what comes on your phone? Do you just come in at random? You know, it's a whole lot of, like I said, it's a whole lot of madness. So you can just come in. Sometimes I just wake up 2 a.m. I'm going somewhere and I'm like, let me just check what's happening here. They don't expect you to come. Do you do that? How often do you want to do that? So you are unpredictable, because once they predict, what is it, 9 o'clock? She will go home. She will not come back.
Nice.
So you should not have a pattern. It should be unpredictable if you're sitting on the management table. So they shouldn't know when you come in, they shouldn't know when you go. They shouldn't know what your pattern is. They shouldn't even know. There was a situation today, I found I did my market survey. I got a number. I called the person. I found out there was a price difference. But I didn't do anything to the person. The reason why I didn't do anything is because, you know what? I want to try him again. I want to believe that he didn't know how to negotiate. But you still try him again. So who is your accountant? What app is he using? Is he actually the money, the POS in the front? Is he actually your POS? Do you have access to that? Is your account, like your front desk accounting, tallying with the accountants? There's a way you check, and then you must do physical check. Like for me, I tell people physical check is the best check you can have. Phones can be manipulated, but when you go there, you check, oh, okay, somebody's occupying this room. You see for yourself, you see it on the screen, okay, room this is occupied. But it might be occupied by someone who is your friend. Are you sure they paid? Are you sure that the complimentary that is given to them as was actually given to them? Did they order food? That the food paid? So it's a broad topic. It's not something, like I said, that can be spoken about in a day's trading, because it's an everyday process. It's an everyday roller coaster. It comes with different challenges, different issues. You sit down, but you have to have mental capacity to be able to balance it. But most importantly, you must be able to make your customers keep coming back at the expense of anything. Like I tell people, maintain that relationship so that if they go, they can't get any kind of customer service as they get with you, because every man who is spending his money wants to be treated as a king. So, and you who is there as the overall know how to do this best. So the person might be tacky, might be nasty, might be almost that your money you must spend now for you. And I know. So even if me, I say, now you keep my papa, but I forgive you. Sorry, sir. Don't be angry. I will sack the person tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow, even if you're not going to do that, you have to sweet talk them. But then you have to ensure that the service they get. So for every time that person in room 442, don't look for his trouble. Oh. Your phone, he must not call you more than 2 times. You do this back end work, back end wahala. So because obviously that's the only way you can make more money. At the end of the day, we're all here because we want to make money. So speaking English is not going to work. Speaking grammar is not it. Just put your operations straight, put your books straight, check your bar, ensure your bar has its record, ensure your store has the record, ensure your kitchen have their record, ensure that everything coming into your store tallies with what you've purchased, ensure that your storekeeper is not your purchaser. Just put things in place and then relax, because you already have a lot on your table. So then come to your system, do your pricing, do your checks, do your calculation, put somebody accountable that comes and reports to you, query the person if you have to, ask questions when you have to. But at the end of the day, as the team lead or as the manager or starting this trip, this journey, please, I will tell you, learn the ropes. The ropes being that you might have to understudy someone. You might have to look at someone do it before. You might have to know, you might have to see, you might have to learn before you can, say, oh, okay, I'm a master of this game. So I think I would end here for today, because I have another class waiting for me. So, but I'll be here listening to questions. I will chip in when I have to answer.
Thank you very much, Ma. God bless you.
Thank you.
I believe it's been a nice time. So we will give Dr. Fleming the floor now. Hello, Dr. Fleming.
Hello, how are you? Welcome.
Oh, fine,
Thank
sir.
you. You're all good. Wonderful. So hopefully we can have an interactive session. More or less, I can only agree with what Lissy is saying. When you hire people in your business, you hire people with a brain. You can say, for me, I know Dorcas. She's very good. She has a brain. Lizzie has a brain, and that's very important. When I set up a business, I'm the manager, I'm general manager or whatever. I hire people who can think. That's one of the most important parts in your business. Well, Liz, you talked about the accountant. It's not your job to do the budgeting. It's not your job. It's just your job to check that everything is in order. It's your job to actually have the business running without you being present. Is that an opportunity for, I don't know how many people here today are general manager. If you're not present, is your business running? If you go on vacation, is your business running? Do you have delegated assignments or tasks? Now we're talking leadership. Are you delegating tasks with authority and responsibility? So as a leader, you may ask a question and you may give a task. You can give a task to the F&B. Are they running F&B as they should? Or do you need to micromanage all the time? Are they going over budget? It's very, very important that you make a weekly budget, as Lizzie said. So when you have done this, when you actually have supervisors beneath you, you can say you're the general managers, you have the level of supervisors, and under that you have the employees. Those employees, you don't need to engage, but always you need to have an open door. That means that the employees can access you. That's one of the things that's very important. The next part is that people can see that you are present when you are there. I actually wanted to go in and share a little bit. I have a little presentation, so let me go in here. Can you see my screen? If you can, I'll expect the feedback. So what are we doing when we are general managers in a business? First of all, we need to understand the basic of your brain, how it works. And I can tell you that what you do every day is 95% repeated from the day before and the day before and the day before. I will assume, and I can say, because I've done this in 90 countries, I've done more than 3,000 plus leaders all over the world. I worked with the president of Paraguay, Costa Rica, Guatemala. I can say this, that if you don't understand the basics of your brain that you're actually repeating every single day, then you're not improving. I will estimate that you're eating more or less, you're sleeping in the same side of the bed every single day. You're stepping out of the bed in the same way every single day. You're probably eating the same breakfast every single day. You're probably going to work the same route every single day. And you're probably, when you're coming home, doing the same as you did yesterday, every single day. So what we do need to do is actually unlearn all the patterns we have that is not beneficial for us. Can you see my screen? I hope so. Okay, and then you need to grow yourself.
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. And then you need to grow your self-awareness, and then you need to develop your and others' resilience. That's actually what you do need as a general leader. When we're talking about growing your self-awareness, it's talking about being positive, being focused, being flexible, being proactive. You're not reacting to everything happening in your daily life. Because if you're reacting, you're just doing the same as you did yesterday. So when Lizzie is talking about F&B, doing budget, following up, and doing different things, actually the chef or the you can say supervisor for the F&B are the person who should do the budget and come to you. And you need to be organized. That's some of the things that you really need to be putting focus on. So how are you approaching your employees? Are you approaching them and reacting all the time? Every time they do a mistake, you are saying, now you did a mistake, now you're going to get a query. Or are you focusing on all the good things they are doing? If you're running in a positive circle, everything becomes a lot easier. If you're running in a negative circle, everything is just blame and excuses. And actually, if you're approaching an employee and she comes up with blame and excuses, is that needed for you? Do you need to listen to that? Do you need to hear their excuses? Is that relevant for you? Or do you need to hear their blame? Is that relevant for you? Actually not. You assigned a task to a person. You assigned a job to a person. You assigned a lot of things. Do you have a job description for housekeeper? Do you have a job description for a chef? Do you have a job description for the reception? So they actually know exactly what they are supposed to do. So and do your employees have the courage to say, okay, fine, I have my job description. It's telling me that this is the things I need to do. So I'm not supposed to do the things, other things that people are asking me to do, because that is not in my job description. Or will your employees just say, of course, just a moment, I shall do this, I shall do that, and they're actually not doing what they're supposed to do? Can you trust your employees? Again, did you do a job description? Do they know exactly what they need to do? And the next part is actually a little bit about test your business IQ. What am I saying here? Which words does not belong in this group? What am I actually saying here is that every single individual understands words in different ways. If I say police in Nigeria or I say police in Denmark, I'll get totally different answers. If I say police in an audience of 100 people, I'll get 70 different answers, because we all see the world in different ways. So are you sure that your employee has understood the message or the assignment or the task you actually gave him? Or do you need to go a little bit lower and explain? For me, as an expert in this country, I'm misunderstood on a daily basis. Maybe because people don't understand what my English, maybe because they don't understand the words I'm saying, or they don't have the same pictures of the words I'm using as I have. And many people are just saying yes, and then they're actually giving me totally wrong things because they misunderstood the task. So for me as an expert in this, in Nigeria or in the world in general, it's not about Nigeria. Nigeria is a very beautiful country. And it's all over the world, because every single individual has their own picture of their own world according to their own programming. So it's all about, when I say radar, or I say kayak, or I say Raven, or I said repaper, I can ask you the question, which words are not belonging here, or which words are not belonging in this group. Some would say repaper because it has 7 letters. Some would say Raven because it doesn't fit, because radar, kayak, and repaper, you can spell from each end. It doesn't matter. But Raven is not the same word if you spell it from the back end to the front. So please understand that it's very, very important that when you delegate a task or when you engage with an employee, and now we're actually touching something very, very important. We had Gumbe the other day. She was actually having a hotel in Gumbe, and I think it was 2 years ago, she started this hotel. She has the same 8 employees at her hotel. She didn't rehire. She didn't fire. She had people who knows now, after they've been there 2 years, exactly what they are supposed to do. I think we talked to I can't remember her name. It was in Gavarimpa. She had a hotel. We talked, that was also the other day, we talked a little bit about security. If she engaged social media marketing people, they would say, oh, no, 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 it's Gavarimpa, security, 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 and so. But what is security? I would love to live in Gavarimpa. I doesn't have a problem as an expert to live in Gavarimpa, because it doesn't matter for me, I'm living in Gavarimpa or I'm living in Central Business District. I'm living 700 meters away from Transcorp. The security is the same. It's dark outside. If I walk on the street, I can get kidnapped. Do I need to walk on the street? That's what every Nigerian tells me. Please, please, please stay in your hotel. When it's dark, stay in your hotel. You can get kidnapped. I don't have the same picture because I actually can go out, and I go out in the evening, and I can even walk from First Avenue or Abia House down to, there is a Galaxy Pizza, and I can go collect my pizza if I want to, 2200 in the evening, 10 o'clock in the evening, and I can come back without a problem. So again, what pictures do we have? And are you sure that when you delegate a task, that the person you delegated to really understood the task? And did you give the task to the person with the authority to perform? Yes or no? That's some of the things you need to think about. So when we're talking about how do we see things, a lot of us are brought up in different ways. We have blocks, we have beliefs, we have barriers, and we have blind spots. And we have deletion, distortion, generalization, and emotional. Most of what we do is emotional decision making. We think we are rational people. We are not. None of us are doing rational decision making. Everything we do is emotional. And after we reacted emotional, we may find that that was not the best way to do things. So now we try to rationalize. And when we try to rationalize, we'll use excuses and blame and a lot of different things, because we try to justify ourselves. For you, or every single individual, even for me, it'll take me a split of a second, less than 1 second, to make an opinion of a person. That means that the person sitting in your reception, when she sees a client stepping into your reception, she may already have decided how to treat that person depending on how that person looks. Does she have a gold watch or whatever? Do I need to be nice to this person? It's not working that way. Actually, if you were rational, because you're emotional, you will just scan the person and say, no, 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 this person is not interesting. This person doesn't have a lot of money. This person is not going to tip me. This person is not this, and that. We already have made decisions upon that according to our programming or according to our bias. And that's why we may even not listen. Many people are not listening at all. So to a client or to a customer in your business, it's very, very important to listen. The lady earlier, Uduka, was listening to her client, and that's why her client stayed there 2 months instead of 1 week. One of the issues was the internet, and that's a general internet problem. There is a general internet problem in all hotels. I don't even have a proper internet here. I've been living in 10 different hotels in Abuja, and internet is not a thing that a hotel can deliver in a very good way. It's fluctuating all the time, and it's because you have, you can say, a small line, and you have a lot of users, and just one of these users downloading videos is blocking everybody else on the internet, unless you set up how people can use it. And that's actually not very expensive, but it can be done so every single individual have a proper internet in your hotel. But that's another story. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about understanding your client. And You as a general manager, are you in the front or are you hiding in your office? Are you there to serve the client? Are you approachable? I don't think so. I've never seen the general manager in the 10 hotels I've been living on in the last 2 years. Even I was living in a very close to Transcorp in a hotel. And for me, I have a problem with my back, so I would love a medical mattress. But that was not an option. It's not an option at the hotel I'm living now. But after I complained at that hotel I was living close to Transcorp, it took me 3 months, and finally, I could approach the general manager, and finally, I could get a medical mattress. So I don't think a lot of managers are approachable by their customers. I don't know. But again, emotions and how do we see things and how do we react? Sometimes we just need to actually use our intuition. It is a positive impact zone for you, will be listening to God. For me, it's listening to God. For others, it's listening to the universe. For others, it's listening to the quantum, the field, which is the sole agency of energy. Even Einstein said that back in the days of 1925. And everything in this world is energy. The other part is best practice research. What is best practice research? That's actually in being here today, listening to me, listening to Elise, listening to the other people who's being here, and sharing each other's stories, listening to other hotel managers, hearing their story. What are they doing? How are they performing? And then have accountability, integrity, communication, and truth. It's not listening, and that's only, you can say, 20%. 80% of all the information we get every single day is negative media, unqualified sources, blame, anger, and excuses. And that's actually where we are, in a very low value zone and in a negative zone. We don't need to be there. We can actually choose to be positive and engage in a positive way. This is our choice. It is a Viktor Frankl, who was in concentration camp back in 1940s, found that the people actually surviving under World War II in a concentration camp was the people who was in a positive impact zone. What does that mean? The only thing you cannot steal from a person is their attitude. You can rob and steal everything from a person, their clothes, everything. But the one thing you cannot steal from a person is their attitude, because it is my choice how I want to react to every single individual approaching me. That is a choice I have of mine. It's also my choice to set boundaries. Do you have boundaries according to employees, according to clients? We talked about that the other day, about smoking in a room. How are we tackling that? Do you have a boundary in your hotel about smoking, a smoking policy? That's a boundary. We have boundaries in traffic, but even in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, that's difficult because we have one side of the road, which is the right side, we go forward or we move forward, and in the left side, people comes against us. But in Lagos, that doesn't count, because even in a 2-lane street, there can be 4 cars and sometimes 5 cars, and everybody goes one way because we're not respecting other people. It's all about me, and I need to go home. That's one story. So actually, that's what I wanted to share. So how you can say that's a little bit about marketing. That's the slideshow I'm in. So let me close this down. So how are you driving your hotel? Are you everywhere? Have you delegated responsibility with authority? Do you have supervisors? Have you authority according to your owner? Or are you just there to make money in the best possible way? Do you make budgets? Do he understand what is needed to drive a business? Or he just heard that hotel business is a good business? How many are managers here today? Zainab, you are a manager. Are you ready? How are you driving your hotel? How are you driving your hotel as a manager? Sinum, or Sinum, or how, maybe I'm saying it the wrong way. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so how are you driving your hotel in Gawarimpa? As I remember, you had 40, 50 rooms, is that right? Are you budgeting?
Is it here?
Huh? Anybody else who is a manager of a hotel? Because it seems that Sinum is not here.
Mona, where are you?
Do we have a manager in this room, in this in this meeting?
Yes, but not in hotel.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a hotel manager. Hotel
So,
managers, where are you?
Yeah.
I'm
We are
here.
here. We are here, ma.
Oh yeah, now. Oh yeah, now.
Okay. So do we have a manager here?
Okay, let
How are you?
me.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Who? Who is speaking now?
Udoka
Okay, fine. So you're managing a hotel where?
in Lagos State.
Okay. So where in Lagos State? In Lagos City or where? Mainland or
Yes, city.
Lekki or?
Bagada.
Huh?
Bagada.
What? Okay.
Bagada. Put what I
Okay.
mean.
How many rooms?
45.
Okay. So are you in charge of an operational account?
Yes, I am the general manager.
Okay, you're in charge of the operational account of the hotel.
Yes. Yes, I'm in
Okay.
charge of the overall operations.
Okay, so you have direct access to the bank account.
Yes, I do.
Okay, fine. So how many employees do you have?
28 direct.
Okay, do you have any
28 direct.
supervisors? Okay,
Yes,
do you
I
have
do.
any supervisors? Okay, so
Yes,
have
I
you
do.
delegated with authority?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so your occupancy in your hotel on the 45 rooms is how many? How much?
At the moment, we are fully occupied.
Yeah, but that's because it's Christmas, end of November or December.
Okay, well, when I joined, that wasn't the case because
Okay.
yes,
So
when I joined,
you're fully booked. Yeah, I'm listening.
all right, when I joined the hotel, the reverse was the case. I remember that when I was being interviewed for this position, in fact, the owner of the hotel was almost crying that that he was frustrated. He wanted to shut down the business. That
Okay.
the revenue wasn't forthcoming, and I just smiled. Yeah, I just smiled and I said, if you can allow me manage this business within 2 months,
Yeah.
you are not going to want me to leave you. And
Okay.
the auditor then, the MD, everybody around were during my interview were like, we've had a lot of consultants. Chinese people have come here to consult. These people have
Yeah.
come here. So if they failed, what makes you think you are not going to fail? And I told them, I said, hospitality is my lifestyle. And
Okay.
I have passion for the industry.
Yeah.
I'm not in the industry.
Sorry, you're not in the industry. Hello, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself? Okay, thank you.
Yes, all right. So
So,
after all of that, after all my convincing, and then they said, okay, we're going to give you 3 months to prove us wrong. And then what is that one thing that I do differently as a hotel manager?
yeah.
I love to understand my environment. I love to understand where the business is located, to understand my competitors. I want to understand the history behind the hotel so that it can help me in decision making. I want to understand the client base, and I want to create my own niche, client niche, so that I can be able to meet with their requirements. And I try
Okay.
not to overpromise in my marketing
Okay.
strategy. I try not to overpromise also, so that I can deliver above their expectation.
Okay.
So
So,
within the, all right, sir.
no. Did you also tell these MD and owner that if you actually succeeded in within 3 months, they need to triple your salary?
Yes, I did.
Good. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So your keywords here is saying that you have passion and you know and understand hospitality. You also mentioned
Yes,
that
very much.
Chinese people has engaged your owner and trying to be consultant. And I would say, how can Chinese people
Yes.
try to consult in Nigeria? Because they don't understand the mentality of Nigerians. So that is, in my opinion, doomed to fail. You don't need foreigners to
Yes.
come consult. You need locals to come consult who actually understand and have passion for the business. That's Dorcas, that's Lizzie, and I'm a local too. I'm married in this country. I've been here for 3 years. You also said you need to understand competitors, environment, the history of the hotel. So I understand from your story here that this hotel was more or less bankrupt. We had another guy talking. That was the first time I was in here. He was talking about a very good running hotel. Then the owner's wife came and thought that she was even better, and she actually bankrupted the hotel because her leadership style was
Exactly.
not the most interesting. So what are you doing on a daily basis? Are you delegating with responsibility? Are you having an accountant? Are you have
Okay.
access directly to the bank account, so you know the status of the
Yes.
bank account? Are you and you're budgeting or what?
Okay. So my templates on a daily basis is this. I Everything that has to do with the accounting is
Yeah.
done by the accounting department. But
Okay.
then I do an oversight function. So I'm not just the manager who sits down without having any knowledge of accounting. So
So
I have done some other courses on accounting, management accounting. So I am very, very into the budgeting. I am very, very into the
okay.
P&L. I am very, very into anything that has to do with the accounting. And then I also make sure that I follow all the accounting procedures, like the first in, first out, and which is what we hoteliers use. And I try to make sure that we have a reorder level, and I do what I call physical check on a daily basis so that I don't get sabotaged along the line. So that is for the accounting department. I am also a qualified caterer. So in the F&B department, I am involved in the menu, and I am also involved in the recipe, creating of the recipes so that my customers and my guests can have a very savoring delicacy. And I try to simplify the menu. I don't want us to have too many menus, too many food on our menu. So I keep it very slim, very minimal, but then very, very perfect. So that with the F&B department. And I try to also employ only professionals because from my years of experience in the industry, one of the challenges we're having in Nigeria in the hospitality industry is that we employ cheap people who are unprofessionals. You know, hotel
Absolutely.
owners and managers don't want to pay. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
want to pay, so they employ just anybody. And the disadvantage of this is that these people are going to mess up your business, because they don't understand the language of hospitality. So
No.
personally, I I employ only professionals. If you're going to be a barman, you are going to be a qualified barman. If you are going to be in my
Mm.
kitchen, you must be qualified to be in the kitchen. I don't want to ask you the SOPs, the F&B standard, and you don't know what I'm talking about. If you are going to be in my front office as my GSA, you must understand what it means to have good customer relationship skills. So this is my own standard. Now, on a daily basis, I do pep talk. I do pep talk with the management team. So where I intimate everyone on what we need to do on every day. And at the end of the day, we come back like, this is my book. This is my book. So at the end of the day, I come back and I check if we achieved all that we stated,
Uh-huh.
that we wanted to do. And then the following day, we take off from where we stopped. So that is one of my templates for managing a hotel industry. Another thing
Okay.
is that I feel, all right.
No, I just wanted to stop you because I had a couple of questions. You had a very simple menu. You said you're employing the right people with the right education. What is your salary level? What are you paying in salary?
All right. Okay, the list here is on 50,000, the list.
Yeah, and that's who? Who is on 50,000?
Those are the cleaners.
Wow.
So those are the housekeepers.
70, 80.
70, 80. And what about the
Yes.
restaurant?
100.
70, 100 in the restaurant. Okay.
Yes.
So you can say a cleaner is getting 50K. That's better than 30K,
Yes.
which most people are getting on a monthly basis, no matter which position they have in a hotel. So here you are, and the cleaners is actually taking care, not the housekeepers, is on 70, 80,000. That's the people cleaning the room for the guests. Is that right?
No, the cleaners are those taking care of the external facilities, making sure that
Yes.
I pay
Yes.
attention to sanitation. Those are the
Yes.
cleaners.
So the housekeepers taking care of the rooms, the guests, connected with the guests is
Yes.
getting 70 to 80, and your restaurant people is getting
Yes.
100. So
Yes.
you're above usual salary, but getting above usual salary, you're not that much above usual salary. You may be double in some areas, you may be triple in some areas, but as I understood in the beginning, you're fully booked every single month of the year.
Yes.
You're fully booked
Well,
constantly. Is
for
that
yes, we are fully booked. Like since November, for example, we
Yeah.
have been fully booked till 8. And sometimes I have to send um, some of our guests to other hotels.
Okay. So as per my understanding, what you're telling me is you're
Yes.
fully booked 12 months a year. Is that right? You're fully booked every month, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, we
Okay.
are.
So what is the
Yes, we
cost?
are.
What is the cost of a room at your place? 40, 60, or how much? How
We
much
have
does a room cost?
48. The list is 48.
Okay. And the most expensive is how much?
The most expensive is 86.
Okay, so let's say that your average income is about 55, 60. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so you have 45 rooms, and other people I talked to in this week or in this area here had about 50% occupancy. So you chose to focus on employee salaries. And how long, what is your retention in your hotel? How much retention do you have? How many of your employees are
Okay.
leaving?
All right. So personally, none of my employees want to leave, but then they know I have a
Ah,
policy. And what is yes,
okay.
none of them want to leave. But then I have a policy.
Yeah.
When you must, they know me, they already know, they will always tell you, GM wants someone who has sense of ownership, who has sense of responsibility, who is
Mm,
accountable, who is responsive, who is dynamic.
mm.
So these are my
Ah,
5. These are my top 5. So if
okay.
any staff is wanting on this, like
Yeah.
today during my pep talk, I told them, I said, my guests are my kings and my queens. And anything
Wow.
that, yeah, so if a guest requests for this seat I'm sitting, that my
Yeah.
guest is going to have it. As long as their money comes into the account, you get.
Yeah.
So they know that this my top 5 are my policies. So
Mm,
whenever I am not, if I'm not satisfied, you are going to find yourself out of the gates, because
mm.
the business has to stand, and the
Yeah.
business, it's not going to be business as usual.
No.
We need discipline, and we need an enforcer of discipline.
Okay.
It's not enough to make policies, but then
No.
who is going to enforce those policies? So that
Mm.
is what I represent.
Ah. So I want to stop you right now because
So
actually
that is
what you're
what
telling
I
me.
represent at any point
Yeah.
in time. So that
Okay.
is that for the staff. And then when it comes
Mm.
to my guests, I try to find out whenever, like for instance, we have Indians in the house, in the facility. I go online,
Yeah.
I go on my Google to find out the network is.
That's okay. I can hear you. I
All
can
right,
I can
so
I
I
can
go online,
continue.
I
I
go
could
on Google.
yeah.
All right, sir. So I go
I could
online to find
continue.
out what Indians like, how they want
Yeah.
how they want their
Mm.
food to be served.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
the kind of ambience they would love to have. And I delegate,
mm.
like in the housekeeping department, I don't want to
Yeah.
talk to everybody at the same time. So I delegate a leader,
Mm.
and I give him authority to act in veto of me.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
sit down with the head of housekeeping every day, and I try
Mm.
to get into his head the vision I
Yeah.
have for the organization. And
Absolutely.
because if he understands the vision, then it will be
Yeah.
easier for him
Of course.
to carry out
course.
the duties and the responsibilities.
Yes.
Then sometimes I just tip him from my personal pocket. Maybe sometimes
Yeah.
I could just give him 1,000 naira and say, "Oh, you are doing a good job. Keep it up," because I
Yeah.
don't want them to feel like you are too critical of them.
No.
So that is how I manage,
Yeah.
especially.
Udoka.
Yeah.
Udoka, you are
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
wonderful person, and I would actually hire you if I had a hotel. That's one thing. I didn't understand, where is your hotel located? Is it located in Lagos on the mainland or Lekki or where?
Bagada, in between mainland and island. Bagada, Lagos.
Okay.
At the heart of Lagos.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can say you had 45 rooms. You had 45 rooms. And I'm saying that you're fully booked all the time. So every day, according to other hotels who may have 50% occupancy, because you're paying and taking care and the way you are interacting with your employees, you have a higher salary, 2 to 3 times higher than other people. But you're driving in 1.3 million extra every single day because you're fully booked. So other hotels maybe have an occupancy of 50%, 45 rooms, 50%. They're losing 1.3 million because we had an average income of each room about 60,000. So I'm just saying 22.60,000. That's 1.3 million, 1,320,000. Just because you're driving the way you're driving and you are giving your employees a higher salary, and you said you were giving them 1,000 sometimes, and you are engaging them in a positive way. So I'm really happy to hear this. So that's how you should drive a hotel. So I would like to ask
Thank you very much.
Very welcome. So I would like to ask people, did you learn something from Udoka? John.
Yes, I did.
Yes, a lot.
Yes,
we learned a lot.
Yes.
a lot.
Learn a lot.
Yeah, I learned also.
Yes, so
Okay.
Miss Caroline, I learned a lot. In fact, she elucidated most of those things that we do not understand, which will keep us moving in the industry. So kudos to her.
Absolutely. So she had an employer understanding her because he was on his crying knees when she got hired.
Udoka.
So she had a position where you said that this owner or the MD or whatever had engaged Chinese people. I don't want to engage Chinese people because I don't think they are, not because they are Chinese, just because they are not from this country and may not understand the culture. And most people coming from the outside do not sit down and monitor. I've been monitoring in Nigeria for 3 years. So that's my job. I can't come teach somebody something if I don't understand what their view and perception are of the world. I can't teach anybody if I don't sit down and actually understand who I'm talking to. That's one thing. The other part is that the guy may be easier to engage. The owner may be easier to engage than the person you may have as an owner because he was crying when she arrived. The other part is that she actually promised him a totally different hotel within the next 3 months. And she also said to him, okay, fine, if I accomplish this, you'll triple my salary. I hope she, and as I understood from our conversation, that this was also happening. I know that some of the things that can be difficult for everybody here is an understandable owner. Okay, I will then open the floor and say anybody who has questions, because we are close to 9 o'clock now. There's 7 minutes left. Do you have any questions, please raise your hand.
Mr. Joseph, you can ask your question, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello, good yeah. I wanted to, because in my first year in Jos,
Yes,
I have
in Plateau.
yeah. Hello, hello.
I'm listening. Hello, we're
Okay,
hearing you, Mr. Joseph.
yes, sir. In my facility here in Jos, I have this like a it's like a month and this I do shuffling. I shuffle my staff from the
Oh,
restaurant as waiters. I shuffle them after three months from the restaurant to the bar. Then those um in the business center, those in the business center, I can shuffle you to the reception. That's after 3 months, sometimes after 6 months.
hmm.
Though it was not the policy when I came on board, but I have to just do it because I don't want you to get familiar with that particular position or that particular department. But the head of the department, I make sure they stick to that department. But you, as the head, you give me those lists of people you think that they can be shuffled with. I think that has helped me. Then in the kitchen, I have senior, like a kitchen assistant, the person after the chef or the cook.
Hmm.
I don't touch those particular aspects because my main concern is let me say, those people that are giving the helping hands. But I now discovered that there are some of my staff that after when they have been shuffled to another department, they go back, let me say, to any of the relative of the owner, and they now complain that they don't like that new department they are shuffled with, or somebody will tell you that that is not what he bargained for. But I want to ask now, is it right? Or because the owner came and asked me, is it
Hmm.
necessary? I told him it's necessary. I see the need
Yeah,
for it.
I would actually ask you the same question. You hired a person for a specific task with a specific assignment according to a specific job description. And that person, when that person starts, needs to fall into place, understand the place, get supervised, and after 3 months, the person needs to start in another role. In my opinion, that's not fine or great or okay, because I would hire a person to do a specific task according to a job description in a specific place, and estimate that after a while this person is growing and getting better, especially if I'm engaging in a positive way. To move people around every 3 months is in my opinion, absolutely not a great idea.
Yes, sir. You never get the best safe. You never get the best out of them.
No, you
Okay.
never get the best out of the person, because you hired the
Okay.
person for a specific task, for a specific role, for a specific job description, or you just hired somebody that you can shuffle around with. That's what did you do? I don't know what you did when you hired the person.
Okay. Then in the policy when I came on board, I now look at it that they are operating in a form of like let me say a home business.
Yeah, but may I ask you, why do you want to shuffle around with your people?
Okay,
Why?
the main aim, my objective there then is I want them to have an experience of the three departments. That's the three service areas in particular.
Hmm.
Yes.
So if somebody is sick, you can replace them. They know the 3 different departments. That's what you're saying. But you're not getting the best outcome of your employee, in my opinion, at all. Because you didn't hire them for a specific purpose with a specific job description. You just hired somebody, in my opinion. That's how I choose to see things. But this is my perception, and you must correct me if I'm wrong. So we can put, you can say, Uduka, would you shuffle around your employees?
Personally, I won't do that. Personally, I won't do that.
No.
And I wouldn't suggest that. All right. We Nigerians, and with experience in the field, you discover that number one, you do not want to create any form of uneven relationship with your boss, the owner of your facility. I don't want a situation whereby, because I'm trying to train you in the various departments, you will not deliver. And when you don't deliver, it bounces back at me. So what I do is I hire a utility staff or a floater. I hire a floater.
Right.
That floater is going to be the person whenever there is need to push a staff to another department. I move the floater to wherever he or she may be needed. That is one of the reasons. Secondly, Mr. Joseph, for the fact that I feel like from what you said, you don't have a firm grip on your facility, because your staff should not have any direct contact to your boss. You need to define hierarchy, and you need to be fully in charge. Because if you are not fully in charge, there is going to be too much information going on, and it will come back to, work against you. So take decisions, and before you take any decision, make sure that the owner is fully in support of your decision, so that when it's time for you to defend that decision, your owner is going to say, yes, I am aware that this was done because my manager informed me before doing it. That is personally what I do, and that is what I suggest any manager of a facility should do. I will stop here.
Thank you. Thank you. Oyedele, you have 5 hands up.
Yeah, good evening, House. Yeah,
Good evening.
I have
Good
a
evening.
question to ask. Regarding different departments, you see that there are some departments that are being paid less. And then long run, you see that, let me take, for example, housekeeping. In most hotels, housekeepers are paid less, while F&B are getting a higher salary than the housekeepers.
Yes.
So at the long run, you see housekeepers trying to move to other departments, while because they feel they are not being paid well, their salary is not enough, and other departments are treated better than them. You see some trying to move front office because they feel front office are being paid better salaries. So I don't know how to scenarios, because you employ someone as a housekeeper, and then when he comes in, he discovers that, okay, we are all working to achieve one goal, which is to satisfy guests. And then at the long run, you see that all your efforts, there are some other departments that are being paid better than you with all your
Yeah.
efforts and
Mm.
other things. You know,
Yeah.
they are most time being pushed to move to other departments. So I don't know how to balance that aspect, sir. Thank you.
That's again, you can say, as I said to Joseph, the people you hire for a specific reason, according to education, according to
Thank you.
attitude.
Thank you.
Huh? Somebody wants to say something? Okay, so you hire them based on that they fit into a certain situation. And you have a hierarchy in your organization that says that you can say, if you can say,
Bring
Uduka
it out now.
said
Let's
that,
go.
okay, you want to say something or you don't want to say something, or can you mute yourself speaking in the background? So you can say, Uduka said that 50 for the cleaners in the public areas, 70 to 80 for the housekeepers, 100 for the restaurant people. And that's according to attitude, education, and dressing and everything. So you have the system in your organization. So if a person wants to apply for, you can say, the job as a waiter or restaurant personnel, then she can do that. But you actually hired the person because he fitted into the housekeeper role. And that's two very, very different things, in my opinion. It's two very different people, personalities, and so. So that's the way I would say my system is, my hierarchy in my organization is this. I hired you for this task because that's where you qualified. If I wouldn't put you in the restaurant. I wouldn't
I see how we
let you
should
be a
stand up
waiter.
immediately. As you,
Huh?
you
Okay, fine.
Please mute your mics if you are not
you can't sit
talking.
down for that for a corner.
So did you do you understand what I'm saying, Mister?
Sir,
Uh,
I do.
Oyedele.
yes, I do understand.
Okay. Anybody, Philomena?
Evening, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm the operation manager of my hotel. Actually, my place is a pastoral center. It's been run
Okay.
by yes. So the housekeepers are really giving me serious headache. I don't know if it is because of their qualification, like Udoka said, I am the right people. I think that is a challenge I have. They are all school start, some cannot even write. So I have like 8 of them that if you have anything for them to do, they have to wait for each other and stand up at the same time. If you say go and clean that lobby, they must wait for everybody to stand up together at the same time to go and clean. And if you say, and these people are not even ready to take responsibility, they will tell you it's not my job. Please, this, you say it's not my job. I was not employed for this. Those kind of mentality is so annoying. It's so annoying.
No,
So
but
I'm just thinking,
how,
what do
how much are you paying these housekeepers?
the list of them is 35,000 naira.
Okay, so you can say that in a hotel you have cleaners, that's public areas, that's common traffic. You have housekeepers, that's another type of people who goes into the hotel room. You can say cleaners are the people taking the public area. Do you have cleaners? Do you have housekeepers? First of all.
No, they are all
Philomena.
housekeepers. They do the job. They are all housekeepers. They do the
Okay.
and the
So
thing is that they
maybe so maybe you should focus on it in the other way and say, okay, fine. 2 of you are now cleaners. That could be the lowest salary, and you are not housekeepers. If you then can have the 6 to do the rooms, then you now have differentiated their task. Because if they all go into the hotel and the room and the guest and engage and everything. You don't have cleaners in your hotel. You have housekeepers, and that's the lowest. Or I don't know. I'm not saying lowest. I'm saying that's the one type of personnel you have. You need to differentiate cleaners and housekeepers. That's one thing.
Okay.
The other part is that I don't know how long time these people have been there, but it seems that they have just put themselves together to work against you. So another part
Exactly.
is that if that's the truth, I would fire all of them and hire new people. And then I will hire cleaners and housekeepers because they have
Okay.
no respect for you and you don't have authority over them. That's what I'm
Okay.
hearing.
Yes, you're right, sir.
So
They
if they
claim
don't
they
have
are.
respect for you and you don't have authority over them, then you need to fire them or you need to query them. That's one of the things I understand in this country is that if you query people, they will start changing because you hurt them on their wallet.
Yes, I queried to Monday and
Yeah.
asked them to give me feedback in 24 hours. They did not. So I had to give them, I gave one 2 days suspension today without pay. That was when she came to
Okay.
me crying that she's sorry about her attitude. She's so sorry. She will not do that again. She has not been doing like
Okay.
that, blah, blah. And I said, what do you want me to do? I gave you a query. You did not respond to it. And I had to suspend you to work this
Yes.
morning till 7 o'clock. You didn't come to me. You didn't say anything.
No.
When I
No.
sent for her to come and acknowledge the suspension letter, she came crying that she's looking for me. What do you want me to do? That I should withdraw the query? I said, sorry,
No.
I cannot withdraw it. It's
No,
official.
because then she would even not respect you in the future. Because if you withdraw the query, then you're destroying your authority. And the only
Exactly, sir.
place you can see you can get people to behave in the right way that's the last option. That's the query, the suspension, and the firing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any other questions?
No.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Then I'll
Thank
give
you,
the
sir.
word to Dorcas. Okay, welcome. Then I'll let Dorcas take over now. Are you there, Dorcas?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much,
Thank
Dr.
you, thank
Fleming.
you.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
everyone. Miss Lizzie, thank you, Madam Udoka. Thank you so much for the knowledge shared.
Yes.
Um, yes, so I will just add that whatever you are doing, I think the word of God tells us that whatever your hand find to do, you should do it with all diligence. The truth is that with the way Udoka speak to us this evening, if God watching from above, he wants to bless somebody with such a business or money to do something, I think he will look at her. Reason is that she handles someone else's business just like she will want her own to be handled. So first and
Okay.
foremost is that whatever has been given into your hand, that is the job you have at hand. Do it as if you are doing it for yourself. Whether the person is there watching or a person is not there watching, but you should know that there is a God that is watching. Just like the other woman, lady was talking about her, is it the cleaners waiting, you call, let's do this. And seriously, you are just going, you will just go. Because what? One is that I believe you just don't need the job. So, and I believe there are many people out there that are in need of it. So you just go. The truth is that it's not hard to find people to do jobs. If you know how many people are looking for that position. So, and I will just want to advise whatever your hand find to do, do it with all your heart. I also want to say kudos to the owner of the hotel that Udoka handles. Why am I saying kudos to him? He gave her a good hand, authority and autonomy to be able to run that place. And that is why every staff under her must listen and obey to her. and obey her. He doesn't interfere in her decisions. He will stay aside and watch her do her thing. I believe probably because he has been dragged to a stage where he has gone in tears. So he has to sit down and watch somebody that knows how to do what she knows how to do best, handles it. So please, your hotel manager is not your business, but handle it like your own. Because what is from what you are doing that you will get blessed. And it is very wrong for you to pick up a job. You meet a job at a level. It's either you leave it the same way you meet it or you improve on it. Never you let anything that comes that is in your hand to degenerate, to depreciate. It is very wrong. If you don't want to do it, resign. But if you want to do it with all your heart. Whether you are being praised or appreciated or not, you should know that God is watching. And by the time he's picking you out of that place, he'll be giving you a place where you will be appreciated. And you are handling very important and, will I say, key areas of humanity, which is hospitality. And I believe that when you do that, it is even a command in the word of God. So when you offer that to people, they will never forget your face. They will never, even if they don't remember your name, they always remember what you do. They will remember the way you look, and they will remember the clothes you wear that day, if they will remember your name. So most of those things are things we should put in place. And when you are handling a position, try to make sure you have it signed on papers so that you communicate properly with the owner of the place. Then you cannot have his backup, just like Mr. Joseph was saying, so that when your staff decide to go behind you to do something else with the owner of the hotel or the owner of the establishment you are handling, the person will be able to bounce them back and things like that. So I believe everyone was blessed or was taught or have learned something this evening. I believe everyone has learned something this evening and the better ways to improve the management of our finances. There is no department that is not important, but there are places where you know that you make sure as a manager, please have knowledge of, if possible, of every department in that place you are handling. Because if the finance person realize that you are so ignorant and have little or no knowledge of finances, they can deal with you. They will make sure they reduce your effort to zero. When the people in the kitchen are you don't have any little knowledge of what is happening there, and then you cannot actually be in authority. You will know that you will mess things up. Normally in this country, people are like that. People are just like that. So make sure as a manager, have knowledge of every department. Go into trainings, develop yourself. Somebody will ask a question, Udoka have this much experience and all that. Why did she register for a course like this? Now I can see why she did that, because what she always wants to learn. Now I'm using her as an example because she will at least we've heard her talk. And I know we have a lot of people with a lot of experiences, but we don't have the time to go through all that. So I want us to go with this lesson that whatever you have in your hand, please handle it with all diligence. Don't murmur, don't complain. If your time has reached for you to leave the place, resign honorably and go. Don't reduce what someone has put in your hand. If you cannot improve on it, leave it the way you meet it. Don't allow any man's business to go down in your hand, because you are also reducing yourself. That is our principle. And if once you operate that principle, whether the person rejects you today, no, there is, I think, the story of someone that was somehow frustrated in an organization and she resigned and left. Now, when you know, most of the time in your CV, you will see your last employment, this work experience, and then another organization wanted to employ her, so they decided to go for background check. They went to a formal employer and asked, please, we're making some findings concerning this person. She has worked here. Yes, they frustrated her. They didn't want her, not because she was bad, but she was very strict in her principles. Like this must be done and must be done well. And they wanted to cut corners. So the only thing those people will say to the former employer will say to those that came for background check, he said, if you need somebody that will not bend, you need somebody that will stand upright, you need somebody that will stand for what is right and not cut corners, then she's good for the position. And that was just it. And those people were okay. In fact, they didn't ask further questions and they left. And that lady was employed. Now, that place you think that, okay, this is it and all that, they frustrated her out, but they were actually the one that gave the best recommendation that these people were looking for. So that is why I said, whatever you are doing, please don't reduce it. Don't reduce someone else's efforts. Improve on it or leave it the way you meet it. And if you cannot do better, please resign and leave the business. And know that the way you handle that business in your hand, that determines the blessing that will come your way.
Thank you.
Level, you can still reach out. We'll see how we can come in and be of help to you. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll be having, yes, most of you were asking for extension in the project submission. I'm still looking into it. Though I'm happy a lot of people have been dropping theirs. So keep dropping, try your best and see if you can meet up. I've only had a request of someone that had an accident and cannot submit his project. And that's the only one that I'm sure for now. But every other person, 13th is still the date. Try your best and see if you can meet up. But if you can't, we will be giving out the certificate and the transcript to those that have completed the assessment. I'll be dropping our final exams link tomorrow. 20 objective questions, very easy and very simple. It cut across everything we have done, just few questions. I know I'm making some people feel like they are back in school again, but I think it's just good to test our knowledge and just refresh ourselves again. So that is the reason for doing all this. So please don't be tired of the assessment. Don't be tired. Yes, I know there's one test I've not posted though. I've not forgotten. I will still drop it. I will still drop that so that we can also attend to that. Our transcript can be complete. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a nice time having everyone here. So I'll be dropping the exam link tomorrow. Once you submit, I will get your response. You can screenshot and drop your score in the discussion room also. And for those that are posting job opportunities in that group, I beg you in the name of God, somebody must not be scammed. Somebody must not be kidnapped from my platform. I use God beg you. Stop dropping sensitive informations like that. on platforms. If you have job opportunity in your location and you are looking for staff, I think the best thing you can do is to reach out to us. We will do our due diligence. Then we can now look for the best people for you. And then we will suggest you will now take on with your assessment. But don't just chat anybody or receive anybody that you met online. I beg you in the name of God. It might not look as easy as it is. We are flowing very well here, but you might not know who is who. Even in the church, even among Jesus' disciples, there was a thief, Abby. I lie.
No lie.
So please, let's be careful. You know, it's a hotel. It's a hotel where different people lodge. So you must be very careful who you give employment in that place. If you need someone, if you need people, you have vacancy in your hotel, just reach out to us, the admin in the group. We are going to help you out and look at the people around your area, do our due diligence, then you can carry on with the interview with them. If they qualify for the position, fine. So that is just that, just to avoid stories that touches the heart. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank
Whoa.
you.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. I can see
Hey,
some
good
people are
night.
raising up their hands. Please just drop your question in the discussion room. Or if you have something to add to what we've heard today, just drop it there too, so that everybody can read and pick up from there. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you. Nice.